Welcome to Unholy Vibes. This is Alex, your host, and today I'm joined by another very special guest, my new friend, Squid Vicious. We met on TikTok, as is a common theme with a lot of my recent guests, doing what I do best, just scouring lives and asking people for their spooky stories. And I happened upon Squid's live and was asking her some different questions, and she was telling me a pretty unique premise that I just had to hear more about. And so I invited her on the show. Here she is. Squid, go ahead and introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I'm Squid Vicious. I do TikTok content and I'm on Twitter and a whole bunch of other platforms, and I like to do gaming on Twitch. My content usually pertains to like dark humor and comedy and dancing and singing. And I wanted to join because I love Halloween. It's my favorite time of the year. So this is perfect opportunity to talk about my haunted trailer park.
Yes, there it is. So the haunted trailer park. I have yet to come across anyone who not because when you say haunted trailer park to me, that means like that's a haunted neighborhood. That's a full neighborhood of haunting. And
Oh yeah.
I lived in a mobile home park for a couple years, many moons ago. Not exactly the same, but pretty close. And so I'm really curious as to what kind of tales you have to tell. So I'm let's dive right into it. I mean, if you want to do chronologically, by all means, start from your earliest experience, or you can just dive into the haunted trailer park. I'm fine with either or. So whatever you're feeling, whatever comes to mind, just go with it. I'm here for it.
Okay, okay. Boy, I guess it would make sense to go back to the trailer park. So, the trailer park that I grew up in was Evergreen Mobile Trailer Park. And in 1987, an F4 tornado went through it and destroyed a lot. And I believe 27 people passed away. And what ended up happening was after everything was cleaned up and homes were starting to become rebuilt and stuff, they dedicated a small park full of trees to each of the families that had passed away in the tornado. So on in my life, obviously, I wasn't born yet. I was born in '94. So when my family, because my family was always military, so we moved around a lot, and we were never in one place for very long. We ended up moving to Alberta when I was around 9 years old, and I just remember when we were getting my trailer built, even just the vibes, everything about this trailer park, the vibes were just off. And it seemed like such a nice home. Everything was brand new about it. Like, what could go wrong? It's brand new, right? But
Mhm.
it's being built on a place that has already been so, like, fallen with destructive. Like, I don't know. It just, everything seemed weird, I guess.
Okay.
So we lived there for a little while and we started noticing immediately like things just didn't seem right in the trailer. Even though it was new, trailers don't creak the way that it did. We heard constantly like footsteps running up and down, like it was going from one end to another. And I remember that one point in time that used to scare me. And because I just didn't understand. But because my mom is so spiritual in herself, she was always telling me, oh, it was probably angels or, somebody looking after you. And so obviously I believed her because she's trying not to scare me. And I just remember that there are so many moments where me and my stepdad and my brother, we all had just different experiences. My dad doesn't believe, like my stepdad never believed in ghosts, anything like that. So when he ended up telling me that when my mom and him were laying in bed and he could have swore that he woke up out of dead sleep, looked right into the bathroom because how their bedroom was kind of situated. The bathroom was right in front of them. And you would be able to see when you opened the door, there was a like a partition from the tub to where the toilet was. And you could see that space in between there. And he still to this day will say that he saw something like a little shadow type figure constantly running back and forth. And he saw it on many nights. And every time that he would go into the bathroom and turn the lights on, there was never anything there. And it's funny because we went to a trailer park and moved there and didn't even know about the history of it. New home, right? So evidently, more weird things started to happen. And my brother was telling me stories how he would see this lady in white constantly. And she would just be standing in the hallway and then she would walk away and disappear. And I thought he was just because my brother also loves scary stuff. So of course he would be like, trying to feed into all of this and
Right.
make something up. And no, my stepdad ended up saying the same thing that he saw her on multiple occasions. This woman in white. My mom used to dream about her, and she used to be she because my mom again was extremely spiritual, a very hardcore believer in the supernatural and how she could see things. And I think that it brought a lot of that energy into the house as well, and that's why it was more active.
It seems like everyone in the family has sensitivity.
Yeah, we were all experiencing something because we were all trying to verify with each other that, okay, you're not crazy, right? Okay, you're good, like, and we're all experiencing the same thing. Okay, and it got to a point even where my mom ended up reaching out to
A medium?
medium,
Yeah.
yeah, medium into our home, and she explained to us that there's like a ton of lost souls, and they are just honestly looking for the light, and they're not even here. They're not trying to scare you. It's just they're just trying to find their way home. I don't know what she ended up doing, but it cleared the entire trailer park because I was even having conversations with my friends who were having experiences and they're like, yeah, I don't know what happened, but now we don't see anything, we don't feel anything. The energy in the trailer park is completely different. Like it just feels a little bit more wholesome. Yeah, it was honestly so strange. And I don't know if it is something that what she did or what triggered it, but I stopped experiencing situations at because my mom lives there. I don't, obviously. But no, my mom still lives there and she hasn't experienced anything like that since. So,
Dang right.
oh yeah, definitely. Because it used to scare the shit out of us as children. Sorry, pardon my French.
Oh, you're
It
good.
used to
You're good.
scare the hell out of us.
Okay, either way.
It. But yeah, and for myself, personal experiences, they all seemed like they were super mild. Like I know for a fact that I am a spiritual, like very like healing energy. I'm very calming. I know that a lot of people gravitate towards me and and it's in a spiritual manner because they know I'm going to accept them. I'm a very intuitive person and I dream a lot and I do see a lot through my dreams. And
Okay.
I've known when I was really, really young and I've accepted that. Thing I can't accept is because my mother can see what is on the other side. I do not want to. I refuse. I just don't want to be scared like that, you know? I Some people can handle that and I would rather not. So I see lots through my dreams because I'm a very creative person, but intuitively I always knew that that house was not right. And all my friends who had come over, they'd always ask me like, "How do you handle being there? Like it feels cold. It feels like something is always watching you." And that is the vibe that my house was growing up. And it's not because it wasn't welcoming or anything. It was
Right.
just it felt heavy. And I remember for myself, I would be sitting in my bedroom and I had this karaoke machine in the corner of my room and it had a whole stack of CDs on it. And it's like somebody went from behind it and just with full force, like threw their arm across the CD stack and it threw them all over my room. And I was a child, like I was like 11 maybe. And I
Yeah.
stood up and I just, in panic, I ran out of my room. I didn't question anything. I just ran out of my room, ran down through the trailer to my mom, and she immediately believed me. She just came back to my room really calm. We picked all of the CDs up together, and nothing happened after that until one night.
Okay.
Until I was laying, yeah. And this is the be all end all because this is when it when I was unable to fall asleep properly at night and really here, wait, we'll fix this. I want to explain how the feeling of this was. As a child growing up, I used to sleep with my back straight, my knees at an angle so that the blankets would create kind of a barrier in front of my eyes. because how my bed was positioned, it was right to the door. And for some reason, the fear that was instilled in me, because I didn't want to see what was past my knees, because I knew something was always there. I couldn't see it, but it was always there. And I lived in fear, and it wasn't the dark. I wasn't scared of the dark. I was scared of what was staring at me constantly. And it was this overwhelming fear and panic and uncertainty, this like weird energy that was there that was keeping me from sleeping. And I knew that for a long time. So, with that in mind, going forward now, I'm laying in my room. I'm probably like maybe 12, 13, and I'm sitting upright and I'm reading a book. I read lots when I was younger. I was alone a lot, and I was very happy with that. Just remember laying there and reading, and at the time I did have cats. I knew there was no cats in the room. There was nothing. And I'm OCD, so I have to have my room clean. I see everything. And I just remember reading and feeling these like claws. It felt like claws, and they just one after another up my leg. And I ripped the sheets off and I ran out of my room as fast as I could. And I ran to my mom and I was in pure panic and dread. Like I cried. Just showed her my leg, and it had little indentations from where something actually like legitimately crawled up my leg from under the bed. And that's when my mom ended up calling the medium, because now we were getting affected kind of physically.
Very intense.
Yeah. And it is something that like I don't know, I don't know how to bullshit that. I don't. I wish I could. I wish that didn't happen, because it sounds crazy, but at the same time, like I love horror and stuff, but I always am looking for like the true horror, which is like the unknown and the ghosts and all of that. And when you can't explain stuff like that, no, no,
All fun and games until it pulls up your leg.
too much. Yeah,
Ask these questions
honestly,
to this story, okay? Have something clawing its way up your leg. Sure, it's not a cat.
oh, absolutely.
And walk me through this,
Man,
okay? So,
I wish it was a cat.
I mean, that would be much less scary, right?
Obviously, yes.
So this is happening. It's going up your leg. You throw off the blankets, the sheets, and you book it. The lights are on at this point, right? Because you're reading, and you throw these coverings off. No cat. They're
No,
stirring.
both of my cats were in my parents' room, the other end of the trailer.
Yeah.
That's why I've tried to make it make sense in my head so many times. And just the whole vibe of everything. Like I wasn't able to sleep in my room for the longest time.
I
I
can only
slept
imagine.
literally right next to my mom, like on the floor. I refused to go sleep in my room for the longest time. My mom would come in and she would bless the house with like sage, and she would say nice, kind words and try to uplift the environment and the vibe. And it just, whew, no, God, no.
Do you think it's got so aggressive? Because it sounds like from what the medium had said about the place, spirits lingering, kind of hanging around looking for the way out, right? Do you think things got aggressive in your home specifically? To you specifically? Do you have any inkling or idea why it turned that way?
Necessarily think it was aggressive, because it obviously didn't hurt me. It scared the living, bejesus out of me as a child.
Yeah.
But like didn't actually like puncture my skin or anything like that. It didn't do anything that aggressive. But to a child, that seems like a lot. So I don't know. We all tried to make sense of it. We were all terrified. Like my mom, I feel like my mom did a lot, and just personally, I feel like she was touching into things maybe that she shouldn't have. Maybe she was exploring too hard, asking too much. Like if you're an empath, or you are somebody that is spiritually connected to the other side, you should be very considerate of who you decide to bring in. because you are messing with something that's beyond yourself. And maybe she was taking it too light. Don't know. Just seems aggressive is not the word. More like more like just shock factor. That's really all that it was.
No
Just trying
broken
to get it.
skin, though, you said, right?
No, nothing ever broke. Like the CD incident was honestly the worst on my end. My mom used to say that she would get signs all the time
I mean,
and
like,
have like,
didn't draw blood when it was doing that to your leg. Yeah.
gosh, no,
Okay.
oh no, no,
Good.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Yeah,
Mischievous, not aggressive, not necessarily violent, but a little mischievous, I could say.
yeah, would say.
It's interesting that you say that, mom, and maybe she was exploring a little too deeply or things a little too lightly. This is sounds like this is years ago for you guys. Your mom still may have been very new to the whole spiritual realm things. I don't know. I feel like when people are diving into their spiritual awakening, for example, can so overly enthusiastic about it, open
Right.
every door they can when they shouldn't.
That's
And
exactly what we think. I think you're right.
that's exactly what was happening.
Absolutely. Like, okay, so if I must be honest, my mom's witchy shenanigans, I knew about that the entire time. She
Okay.
was, her and I, we were constantly doing very similar things together. So we were into crystals, we did Reiki courses, we did light healing courses, we did all sorts of things. Like I was saying before, I'm very in tune with people and their energies and stuff. So I just have always been a person of comfort. I've done that with all of my friends. I've always been that empath person. My mom does tarot cards, the whole nine yards. And so when she was getting more and more and more in depth into this, it started to scare her because I think she was opening doors that she didn't know exactly how to close.
Hmm.
And that's kind of where my upbringing started, where it was put covers on all of the mirrors. At one point in time, she was so obsessed with mirrors, and I kind of saw how, like, the transition in her energy shifted. Like, as she was still becoming more and more spiritual, like, she got frightened of them. Like, she didn't want to see her own reflection anymore. And she just started covering everything up,
Interesting.
extremely scared of everybody. So, I don't know.
That is fascinating, though. I'm curious to know her thoughts. So we get the crawling up the legs. We get the place blessed and cleared out. The whole trailer park benefits from this medium showing up, which I want to talk to this medium. I mean, she seems pretty good.
Yeah, like honestly, I really don't know where she came from. Like she just seemed like such a, in a way, an angel because the way that it happened, it was so, she just said to us, don't worry, they're gone. They all made it back to the light. And honestly, I think that all of the people of the trailer park, like all of the families from then would just love to know that because like if I was a ghost, I would hate to just be stuck here in limbo,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd want to find the peace
One,
wherever that might be.
I feel like sometimes when there's like a tragedy like that, like you were saying, the tornado and everything, and having that many
Yeah.
people in such a small space pass away so quickly, so abruptly, it could be a shock to them potentially. And that's why they're still hanging around. They don't really know what's going on.
No, and it was really nice of the trailer park to actually dedicate a spot for all of the families to have their own tree, and it was really nice to see that kind of growth and that be there, and everybody was so respectful of that space, and it really did tie the community together in such a way. It was nice.
That is nice. So after that, no more crazy experiences at the trailer park. But what about in life in general?
I don't know. I get like just for myself, just because I try to keep myself in the spiritual sense of just connecting more to earth, and I'm a hippie, so if you couldn't tell, I try to meditate more and do those kinds of things. But personally, I haven't seen a lot lately, and I'm kind of blessed for that because I don't know if I'd be willing to see more.
Right.
Like it intrigues me,
Mm.
The thought, I'm always chasing the thought of like what's out there, what's unknown, but and I've had like the odd random experience happen here and there where it seems unexplained, but the logic in my brain tries to make it make sense, so then I don't freak myself out.
And that's okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's one thing to have an experience and say, "Whoa, that just happened." It's an entirely different thing to be seeking them out and trying to make
Yeah.
something happen. And so you got to protect your peace, spiritually speaking, especially. Like, hey, I don't really need any of that. And that's okay. And I'm never going to be like, hey, go get involved in something. No, it's not like that. It's just, if you have it, I want to hear it. You know? But I totally respect that because I've had other people who similarly, they're like, I haven't seen anything in a while and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, because honestly, like it just felt like so overwhelming when my mom was actively trying to make things happen. And I think
Right.
that's where that falls into, because she was constantly trying to awaken something and she wanted to talk to someone. And not that it's a bad thing. You know what you're doing, that's not a bad thing. Everybody finds comfort in some method or way of relieving that feeling of loss or whatever connection they have to a person that's passed. And it makes sense. Personally though, I it's not that I think I couldn't handle it. It would just be a lot. And I'm happy and feel blessed that I don't.
Yeah. You're okay right now. You
Yeah.
don't need any of
I'm,
that.
I'm o- yeah, and if I did see something, my instinct would just be try to guide it to the light and try to just stay in the positive vibes. Just try to make it seem like a positive experience. I
Yeah.
wouldn't try to scare myself or make it seem uneasy for me going forward
Yeah.
or it.
Yeah, because why bother, right? Why put yourself back in that headspace? You don't need that. Well, I like where you're at. I totally vibe with that. I dig it. Now, as far as the house you're at now being haunted, what's that about?
It's such an old cabin. So, cabin next door. It is kind of haunted. So, my husband's grandmother is buried next to it under a lilac tree. And she used to like summer there and hang out and pretty much live there for like all of her summers growing up. And that's all that my father-in-law remembers of her is just being out here, enjoying herself. So she spent like a lot of time just making that her space in her home. And we do end up getting the feeling once in a while when we all go over there that, there's somebody there. It's not like anything scary or anything because it's grandma. I do feel like she definitely messes around because she knows I'm scared a little bit of ghosts. I know she knows. I get this feeling and I feel like if I would have known her when she was alive, I probably would have loved her and she would have probably just thought I was the best. And every time I'm in there, I feel super comfortable and like myself. And it's all decorated in old, rustic, original things like the guns and all of the old pictures, and everything's original. So, and that was from 1894. So, lots of old artifacts and stuff, and lots of history. And every time I'm in there, I just get this overwhelming feeling like she's just like right there. And I've had the feeling of being rushed out before. Like you know when you're in a panic and you just get that overwhelming feeling like there's something just right there and it's gonna get you. It's gonna get
Mm.
you. I've ran out of that cabin so many times turning lights off and stuff because of like, no.
So funny.
Yeah, and like my husband's had experiences in there and he's felt like uneasy for no reason. Tons of scary stories actually.
Oh, I don't know if I should tell this one.
Oh, your
Um,
headphones just died. I heard the audio change.
where was I going with that? Okay, so my father-in-law, a long time ago, there was a little boy, and oh, it's kind of a sad story, and this it does turn into a ghost story, but it starts off a little sad. So this property is a corporation. It's was like founded by two different families, and so there's my husband's side, and then there's another side, and they have their own cabins across the way. And it's kind of separated, not really. We're kind of intermingled. And so there used to be a little boy that sadly ended up drowning in a pool, and somebody wasn't watching, or things happen. It happened so fast, and the little boy ended up drowning. So years go by, and everybody is aware of this situation, and end up dedicating like a spot down on the beach for him. And I think he was around 6 years old. And my father-in-law would tell me this story like lots. And he said that in him and his first wife, they had their children. They had a swing set out here. And his mom ended up telling us she watched her daughter on one of the swings, and she swears she saw that little boy sitting on the swing right next to her. And she, like, when she talks about it, she like starts to tear up and stuff because it was so real to her. And the little boy was just gone. There is another time we were all talking about ghost stories one night, and so that one ended up coming up. And then his dad ended up telling me about this dog that they used to have around here. And the dog ended up passing away. And Darcy's not very big on like scary stories and like haunted anything, so he's kind of like passive on that. And he said that he was driving home one night, and that dog just ran right in front of his truck. And that's exactly how he said it. He's like, I can't explain it. He said, but it was the dog. He said that he stopped and halted in his, like, he just knew it was the dog. And it just ran right in front of his truck as he was coming home, because it's something that the dog would do every single time when he would come home, as he would chase him up the driveway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ghost of
So
their
we've all
dog.
had like our own kind of experiences, I guess, with
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. It's weird because then it just kind of, it's not that it becomes normal. You're just very aware.
It's not normalized, but like it's not gonna freak you out.
No.
Yeah, it just sounds like everyone's very much aware and used to it, but maybe just not unfamiliar with such experience to where they're like, "It just is what it is now. It just kind of happens. It is what it is."
I think that's kind of where we're all at. It's like whatever kind of experience happens, it is what it is. And it's weird where you get to being so comfortable around it because it's happened so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's normal, but you're definitely awake and you're not in panic mode. You just kind of accept it and you're like, okay, so that just happened. And you try to make sense of it in your head, right? You try to make it sound so logical, make it make sense, but it just doesn't.
And then you're just okay with that.
Pretty much. Then whoever wants to hear ghost story, then we tell it, right?
Yeah.
Because who doesn't love a good ghost story?
I know I do. I think I stumbled into the right family.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do like a haunted cabin tour one day, for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely. I would love to see you do a tour of the haunted house, the haunted cabin, and just share
Absolutely.
that with the world. I'll repost it, just tag me in it, whatever you got to do.
No, I'm like so happy that you reached out to me, just because you know what, this is great. It's a connect, and this is great storytelling, and it's fun to just share,
Yeah.
and chat, and yeah, I love it all.
And I'm so glad you came on. And I'm so glad you're enjoying yourself because that's the purpose. It's real people telling the real stories. We're just chatting. We're just having a conversation. I'm in it for the love of the game. I'm genuinely here because I like spooky stories and I like connecting with people. And so give me
That's
what
what you
you
gotta
got.
do. You gotta bring it back and keep it passionate.
Yeah,
That's what gets you further.
this is a passion project at its finest, right?
I
Well,
love it.
anyway, thank you so much. Do you have any other stories or anything else you'd like to share or discuss?
I think I'm good for right now, but you know what? I will do homework for you, and I will collect stories. I know too many people with ghost stories.
That's how we get more people on the show, right? Or more episodes. So listen, I'm happy if you're happy, and if you're good, I'm good.
No, this was a blast. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
honestly, what an opportunity. It was fun, and you're awesome.
yeah.
So,
Thank you so much. So are you. I really appreciate what you're doing, and let the people know what's your TikTok. Where else do you want them to follow you?
everybody can find me on pretty much everything you could probably imagine. and it's just Squid Vicious XXX.
Great name, by the way, Squid Vicious. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been an absolute delight. I look forward to having you on again with more stories, little spooky tour of the haunted house. Be sure to follow Squid. And as always, you can reach out to me on Instagram or TikTok at Unholy Vibes Pod. So feel free to DM me if you have any stories, know anyone with any stories, or even if you just have some questions for me or for any of the guests that have been on the show, because I'm sure I missed a good question here and there. I get too engrossed in the stories and I forget to even ask questions sometimes. So reach out to me there or email unholyvibespod@gmail.com. Literally while we were recording, I looked and someone DM'd me and said, I want to pre-record. I don't really want to be on the show. And that's okay too, everyone. If you want to pre-record a little message, a little short, scary story and send it in, that's totally fine. I would love that. I've had a few people write in a few paragraphs of their story because some people don't want to be recorded, and that's totally okay. Anonymous submissions are welcome. Send them my way. Don't forget to share this with others. I just want to spread the spooky word. As always, everyone, stay spooky, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.